Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the recap and reaction to WWE's Night of Champions Riyadh that took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia this Saturday. I don't know why it's named Night of Champions, because it was in the middle of the day. It came on this Saturday, June the 28th, and we were blessed with 6 matches on this card. 2 of them was the King of the Ring finalist and the Queen of the Ring finalist, and the winner of those 2 matches will go on to SummerSlam that takes place in August to challenge for the championship of their respective brand. And let me just say that I found it odd. I questioned a couple of minutes ago, why did they name this Night of Champions? They should have just had the King of the Ring pay-per-view. Night of Champions made no sense to me because you only had 2 championship matches. Now, out of the 6 matches, you had the WWE Championship match. You had a United States Championship match. Granted, the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring did have championship implications, but that was it. There was no other championships on the line, and it was kind of silly to me to name this PLE Night of Champions, because I'm growing up in an era where Night of Champions, where every championship was on the line. I don't care if it was the 24/7 championship, the hardcore championship, the European championship. Every championship was on the line at Night of Champions. Now, technically, Night of Champions was a part of WCW, but you get the point I'm trying to make. I think that was a waste of a pay-per-view. Honestly, we could have used that for an actual Night of Champions where all the championship belts were on the line, but whatever, but besides that, if that wasn't enough controversy, you had the controversy that this was taking place in Saudi Arabia. Now, every Saudi Arabia event is controversial, but this one was really controversial because you actually have some discourse going on in the Middle East, not too far from where these performers are performing. And so there was that big issue as well. There's the CM Punk of it all, who made it known years ago that wrestling in Saudi Arabia is pretty much against his morals. And here he is on the main event, which has prompted some, not all, because I'm not one of them, but some people to call him out as a hypocrite. I feel, yeah, he probably felt that way at the time, but he changed. And hey, money changes your mind on a lot of issues, but regardless, it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. So we had 6 matches. It was supposed to be 7, but 1 match got canceled, and that was the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. That was put on pause, if you will, because Dominic Mysterio is hurt. Now, a lot of people have said online that AJ Styles didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, and some had even said that Dominic Mysterio came out and said he didn't want to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, hence the match was canceled. That was kind of debunked when it was revealed that Dominic Mysterio does have a legit injury. Now, this was released by WWE, so you could take it with a grain of salt, if you will, but regardless, that match got canceled. So you had 6 matches in total. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton fighting in the final of the King of the Ring to determine who will challenge the champion at SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. You had Sami Zayn taking on Karrion Kross. Solo Sikoa challenging Jacob Fatu for his WWE United States Championship. you had the final in the Queen of the Ring between Asuka and Jade Cargill. And in the main event, you had the greatest of all time, John Cena, putting the WWE Championship on the line against the best in the world, CM Punk. So, without further ado, let's get into these matches and rank these matches. I guess you can go recency bias. I may feel differently tomorrow, after I let it settle. But this is how I feel about these matches and this premium live event as of right now. Starting off with our opening match on this card, and it is the King of the Ring tournament final between Cody Rhodes and the Viper Randy Orton. Just to give you a little history of the King of the Ring tournament, we started off, and I actually enjoyed this tournament. The King of the Ring used to be a pay-per-view or a premium live event, as they're called today, but they used to be a pay-per-view, and all of these matches took place in one night. And that crowned, at the end of the night, you crowned the King of the Ring because you done went through this sort of a gauntlet of opponents throughout the night. And that's why it was one of my favorites growing up, but it has changed. Now you have the tournaments on Raw and SmackDown leading up to the premium live event, whatever premium live event it may be. It just so happened that it fell on Night of Champions, whatever. But we started off with these fatal four ways, and Triple H, God bless him, he loves fatal four ways. I see he loved these multi-man matches. Oh my God, it's like, man, are we ever going to get singles? Do we ever get singles anymore? But I must say, I really enjoyed these matches that was on Raw and SmackDown the last few weeks. The first one, you had Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Sami Zayn in a fatal four-way. Sami Zayn came out the winner in that fatal four-way. On SmackDown, you had Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out on top, meaning Randy Orton and Sami Zayn advanced to the semifinals. The other two fatal four ways, you had Andrade versus Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Of course, Cody Rhodes came out on top in that fatal four way. Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, Rusev, and Sheamus linked up together in a fatal four way. Jey Uso came out on top in that one, advancing him to the semifinals against Cody Rhodes. Cody defeated Jay, and Randy defeated Sami Zayn, leading to this match here. This match was years in the making, to be honest with you, going all the way back when they was a part of a faction together many moons ago. It was Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Ted DiBiase Jr. I think they were Legacy, they were called, because their fathers were legendary wrestlers, so they had a nice little faction going on, and it broke up on bad terms. But when Cody Rhodes returned to WWE after his stint in AEW, they were on the same team. I think Randy Orton joined him in War Games, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was that War Games that CM Punk returned in Chicago a couple of years ago, and they pretty much were back to being on the same team throughout the last couple of years. You had some teases that Randy was going to turn on Cody and all this other stuff, but it never quite got around to it. Whether it was injuries or other parties came into play or whatever the case may be, they never linked up. So we finally get the match that, shockingly, I was excited for. I was probably more excited for this match than any other match on this card. And it just so happened it opened up the show. This was a decent match. It wasn't a barn burner by no stretch of the imagination. I would say this was a safe match. Uh, I don't know if one or both of these guys are hurt, and they kind of, you know, playing it safe in the ring, just to put it kindly. Now, I'm saying this, but the match wasn't bad. They were taking bumps, they were doing some big spots, but it wasn't nothing out of the ordinary with these two gentlemen. But overall, it was a fun match, decent match. I wouldn't even say fun, but it was a decent match. And ultimately, we got Randy Orton teasing a possible heel turn with the punt situation that he thought about doing, didn't do it, decided not to do it. It almost used the chair, but that got taken away by the ref. He took off the turnbuckle and was going to use that, or the turnbuckle cover, and was going to use that to assist him. And ultimately that backfired, to whereas Cody Rhodes took advantage and defeated Randy Orton to become the king of the ring. More importantly, he will go on to SummerSlam to challenge for the undisputed WWE Championship that he lost at WrestleMania to John Cena. So who will he face? Either John Cena or CM Punk? We'll see at the end of the night. Wink, wink. But that pretty much, once that match went final, it was automatic. I knew. I already knew, but that just put the icing on the cake. I was like, okay, I know who's winning the main event tonight. But Cody Rhodes is your 2025 King of the Ring. He will be main eventing SummerSlam against one of those two guys I just mentioned for the championship. Our second match of the night was a street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. A match that I didn't care for. Going in, I didn't care for. And I get it. You got to give Rhea something to do. She can't have the championship all the time. Technically, Rhea can hold on to that belt for many moons. She can pull a Roman Reigns with that belt and hold on to it for 4 or 5 years if she chooses to, because she's over. She is the prototypical professional wrestler. She has every box checked, and nobody can touch her currently in the women's division. And this is a point in time when the women's division is at its peak, I feel. But we need to give her something to do. Raquel Rodriguez, she needs something to do. She is one half of the WWE Women's Champion or Tag Team Champion, and her partner is out and going to be out a while. They project and Liv Morgan to be out for about 4 to 6 months with that shoulder injury that she sustained. About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. Yeah, man. Give them something to do. And these two, they had a good match in NXT. Actually, they had a couple of good matches. And since they've gotten to the main roster, Rhea has shot to the moon. Yet Raquel is kind of stuck in neutral. And I don't know, man. It's really disappointing, I guess you could say, because I was a fan of Raquel in NXT. But once she got to the main roster, she hasn't done anything. She has not progressed at all, in my humble opinion. Haven't enjoyed any of her matches. Her promo work still is suspect. But I understand why she's there. I mean, she's a specimen. Once again, Rhea Ripley is one of the biggest, toughest women in the division, and Raquel towers her. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together until I was watching this match. And I was like, Raquel is taller and bigger than her. It might say stronger than Rhea Ripley. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together there. So these two should be having an epic rivalry, on the main roster. But I don't think. Well, it's not that I don't think. I know for a fact Raquel isn't on the level as Rhea right now. But to be fair to Raquel, the majority of the women aren't on Rhea Ripley's level. So, but I digress. I say all that to say this. This was the best Raquel Rodriguez singles match she's had on the main roster. This was a really good match. And with that being said, this wasn't a great match. It was one of Raquel's best match, but it was one of Rhea's weakest matches, if that's even possible. But it was decent. Like it was Raw quality. It was Monday Night Raw quality. It wasn't like a house show type match, but it didn't do anything to wow me. And this is a street fight, and it was kind of tamed for a street fight. Yeah, we got kendo sticks. Yes, we got tables, but it wasn't a street fight. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like a blood feud type match. This just felt like, okay, it's a street fight. So let's put in some furniture. Let's add a table to this match. Let's do a kendo stick spot. Let's do a power bomb through a barricade spot. They were just doing it for doing its sake. But the match didn't truly call for it, if that makes any sense. Raquel Rodriguez, not Raquel, Roxanne Perez, she came in, interfered in the match. Also, I can't talk tonight. Yeah, y'all notice I'm stumbling all over myself, and I'm not reading nothing. Maybe I should be reading to kind of keep my brain on track. But anyways, Roxanne Perez, she came and interfered. She's another one who needs something to do. She just got called up recently to the main roster, and she needs to do something to make an impact on the roster, to whereas because she's at a point right now where she can take over. Liv is out, and so she can slide into that Liv Morgan spot, and make her name for herself. I think this is the time. Her interfering with this match is kind of a foreshadowing of that, I believe, especially with Raquel Rodriguez holding on to both of those belts. She needs a partner, and they're both in Judgment Day technically, so it only makes sense for Roxanne to assume a partnership of that tag team championship belt. Don't say you can't do it, because you just did it for a storyline involving Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi, which is a storyline that's still going on. But Naomi took out Jade when they were the champions. Jade was out, so Naomi stepped up to become the second half of the women's tag team champion. So you can do this again. That being said, you just did it. You just did that. We've seen this before, literally a couple of months ago. So the creativity is not really clicking over there in WWE. We're recycling the same storylines from months ago. It's one thing if it was years ago, but this just happened. Granted, before that was for a storyline. This time is for a legit reason. Liv Morgan legitimately dislocated her shoulder, so she's out. But it doesn't excuse the fact that you just did it. But once again, I digress. The match was fine. It wasn't useless like a match that we're going to talk about later in a few minutes here, but it did its job. The only question now, where do we go with Rhea Ripley after this? Where do we go with Raquel and Roxanne after this? I mean, is this the end of this feud for now, or are we going to continue with this feud going forward? I don't know. I know Evolution is coming up, the women's PLE that's coming up, and Io Sky does not have an opponent as of yet. We find out later that Tiffany Stratton has one, but Io Sky does not have an opponent. So is it one of these three? Is it a dark horse? Is it somebody else that we're not thinking of right now? But as far as the three women that were involved in this particular match, where do we go from here? And that was my big thing with this match when they announced it. Like, okay, but I don't see anything coming out of it, to make it exciting. That's why it didn't matter either way. If Raquel would have won this match, it I still would have felt the same way. To be honest with you, it doesn't move anything forward. But I've been proven wrong before in the past, and hopefully I'll be proven wrong about this. But Rhea Ripley defeats Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight, despite being beaten with a Kingo stick and not power drive, but power bombed through the barricade and hit with stair steps and all this other stuff. But she still came out on top. Mommy is always on top. Match number 3. We have Sami Zayn taking on Karrion Kross with Scarlett in his corner in a singles match. This match, I'm not going to say it was useless, but it was useless. I know why this match happened. There's no mystery. Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia, of course. I understand why it happened. I understand why Sami Zayn won. Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia. I get it. But I don't get why this match honestly took place. I really don't. On this card, this could have happened on SmackDown last night. It would have been as exciting as whatever. This was nothing. I understand the Karrion Kross of it all. Everybody wants Karrion Kross, including me, to get his moment. Because the Karrion Kross in NXT was a beast. They built him up in NXT to the point if he would have came onto the main roster without the influence of Vince McMahon, he would be holding that championship right now. He probably would have been challenging Roman Reigns during his, tenure as the tribal chief and as the undisputed WWE champion. That's how much they built him up in NXT. Vince McMahon ruined that and then fired the man. Triple H brought him back. And since Triple H brought him back, he has done absolutely nothing. He's in the background, backstage, being the devil on the shoulder thing, talking to wrestlers and, trying to influence them. Yeah, he had that Final Testament stable with who was those guys? Can't even think of their name. That's how bad it was. The Authors of Pain. He had that stable. They got fired. They kept him, but he's still not doing nothing. It's just been bad, to the point he cut that promo after WrestleMania, which was fire, and I know he got it in him. And he can wrestle. He can do his thing. What's the issue? He's a Triple H guy. I don't understand what's happening. But just sticking him on this show, a match that was announced on Raw, I think, just a few days ago, in just like a pity a pity match, it felt like, okay, we'll give you a match on the PLE. It was nothing. Like, okay, even if he would have won this match, like the argument I was making about the street fight match, where does Rhea Ripley go after that? Where did Karrion Kross go after that? Even if he would have won. Now that he lost, I really want to know, where does he go after this? The match was all right. It was a Raw match. SmackDown even, but a PLE? No, it wasn't. This was a waste of time. I felt that this match was thrown on here to take the place of the Intercontinental match that was supposed to take place between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, and it was just a last minute adjustment type deal. But I don't know, man. They would have did better just not having it, to be honest with you. Then you stuck it in the middle of the PLE. It kind of drained some of the soul out of the night, you know. And this was a crowd that was hot for Sammy, and they got quiet. That told you all you needed to know. Nobody was checking for this match, man. But it wasn't horrible. Like I said, it was just there. Sami Zayn defeats Karrion Kross in this singles match. Our fourth match of the night was a WWE United States Championship match where Jacob Fatu puts that belt on the line against Solo Sikoa. We know the history of this. Solo is the one who, quote unquote, brought Jacob Fatu in to the Bloodline. Has been kind of his enforcer for a while. Then all of a sudden, everybody started liking Jacob Fatu. And he broke off on his own. He won the United States Championship at WrestleMania by defeating LA Knight. It was great. He's turned face after he heard Solo Sikoa talking about him backstage. It was just a mess. And so it leads us to this match where the two finally went fisticuffs in the ring. This was telegraphed as well. No shock here. Pretty much knew the outcome. It was just a matter of how the outcome was going to come. And it was at this point during the PLE that I was convinced that these are the type of matches we're just going to get tonight. It's not going to be nothing. And not just tonight. All PLEs under Triple H. I've been trying to give it a chance. Every now and then you get a banger. But for the most part, you get these safe matches. And I don't know, man. It's like WWE is scared for their people to get hurt. And trust me, I'm all for safety, but go back to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got hurt on one of the flukiest fluke things you can ever do. She was just bracing herself for a fall, and she's out for 6 months. But going through tables and ladders and chairs and stuff, that's all right. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it just felt safe, man. It wasn't a brutal match like I was hoping, and you got two brutes in there, especially Jacob Fatu. You could have got nasty with this match. But I know you just had a street fight on this card, so you didn't want to have two. Well, my counter argument to that, don't have this match on this card. This should have been saved for SummerSlam, in my humble opinion. But this is where we got it. All right, fine. It was just that. Fine. It was a fine match. I didn't feel no type of way. Like I said, I knew Solo Sikoa was going to win this going into it. It was just a matter of how. We had two returns during this match. Well, one return and one debut. You had the return of Tonga Loa to help assist Solo. And then you had the debut of Hikaloa. And if you don't know who Hikaloa is, look him up, man. I mean, the dude is like 7 feet tall. And not 7 foot, big show tall. He's 7 foot of man. This is a 7 foot tall Roman Reigns looking type. That's his build type. Just scary. But he came through, kind of botched the little choke slam that he did to Solo in the table. But whatever, it is what it is. But it led to Solo Sikoa pinning Jacob Fatu with a Samoan spike to become the new WWE United States champion. And this is Solo Sikoa's first singles title on the main roster. That's cool. He needed that. Now, if anybody needs a belt, it's Solo. And it's not because Solo is weak in anything or his character is weak. Solo has stepped his game up immensely since the bloodline has kind of broken apart. But I think he needed a belt to kind of reassert himself as a dominant figure within this division or on SmackDown, however you want to call it, and bring the bloodline back to some remnants of what it was before. It's not going to be what it was before under Roman Reigns. That ship done sailed. We didn't move past that. But if we're going to have this new, fresh bloodline, and Solo Sikoa was going to lead it, he needed to have something gold around his waist. So this is smart. I just wish it would have happened at SummerSlam, a bigger stage, if you will, and a bigger impact, I believe. But whatever, we got it here. I'm gonna accept it here. I did enjoy the match. I'll go as far as to say it was one of the better matches of the night, but like, it just didn't set the world on fire. But at least it had some sparks, because our next match was, oh my God. it was the Queen of the Ring tournament final between Jade Cargill and Asuka. Asuka, she just returned after being out about a year and a half with a knee injury. I think she had to have surgery and whatnot, but she just returned, fighting her way to get to this final. And you have Jade Cargill, who WWE is trying their best. I give it to WWE. They're not the problem. I'll just say that. But just to recap the Queen of the Ring tournament, just like the Ben, it started off with the four-way, or what do you call it? The fatal four ways. Just like the Ben. You had Kairi Sane and Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Roxanne Perez in our first women's fatal four-way. Roxanne Perez came out on top in that match. Next, you had Piper Niven and Nia Jax, Meechin, and Jade Cargill. In that fatal four-way, of course, Jade Cargill comes out on top in that one. Alba Fire, Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, and Charlotte Flair in another fatal four-way. Alexa Bliss comes out on top in that match. Then you had Asuka taking on Ivy Now, Raquel Rodriguez, and Stephanie Vaquer. Asuka comes out on top. She faced Alexa Bliss in the semifinals, and Jade Cargill took on Roxanne Perez in her semifinal match. That gave us this match between Asuka and Jade. I have nothing nice to say about this match. I do take that back. Asuka, that was it. Asuka, I knew that Asuka would have to carry this match for it to have any shot of being anything. Jade Cargill, yes, she is cut from granite. She looks like the Black Wonder Woman. I mean, she is perfectly sculpted from clay. I mean, beautiful on top of it. Can't wrestle. I'm sorry. I tried. I've been trying to be the voice of reason when it came to Jade Cargill, but God bless her, she just doesn't get it. Jade Cargill would have benefited for maybe another. Well, I ain't gonna say another, because she never went to NXT. They brought her straight to the main roster. She should have been on NXT. She should have been in the Performance Center. Still, look at Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez could have skipped the NXT. Stephanie Vaquer could have skipped NXT. They were main roster ready, but they stayed down there a while, honed their skills, and moved up. Same thing with Julia. Moved on up. But they could have came straight to the main roster. they decided to put Jade on the main roster. That's where WWE messed up because she wasn't ready for prime time, and she's still not ready for prime time. It was good when she's with somebody, when she was a part of that tag team with Bianca, her feud with Naomi, all that's great, and I think that's still going on. And her the outcome of this match plays into the Naomi thing, I think, in some when we get to SummerSlam. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I just think she needed to be or still needs to be on NXT. It would do her better. This is not a demotion. This isn't to say that she's, you know, useless or whatever. You can get great use out of her in NXT. For example, Mariah May, or what she's going by in NXT, Blake Monroe. She could have came straight to the main roster because she is main roster ready, but she's in NXT. Fine. You know, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, all that. They could have came straight over. The point I'm trying to make, the point I'm trying to make, they should have did the same thing with Jay. Jay should have went to NXT and improved her skills. She is so slow in reacting. She doesn't have the timing down. All she has is big moves, the little nuances, the sweet science that goes into a wrestling match. She doesn't have it. The only thing that saved this match was Asuka. She was carrying this match. She was trying her best, but you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. And poor Jade, it's like she setting up for spots. She's trying to remember where she was supposed to be. She's out of position constantly. It's like, my God, do y'all go over what y'all gonna do in the match? It's like she struggles so hard, man, and it's painful to watch. And I'm saying this not to be a Jade Cargill hater. I'm saying this because I like her. I really want her to succeed. I want what's best for her, and they need to do something better. Shooting her straight to the moon is not going to work. Her and Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam, you can keep it because Tiffany Stratton is still not up to snuff, in my humble opinion, when it comes to her ring work. Yeah, she's very athletic. She is entertaining at times, but she is not 100% there. So them having this match at SummerSlam, my question is, who's going to carry that match? Because they're both green. I don't know how is this going to work. That's why I think that Naomi is going to have that epic cash in with the Money in the Bank contract in that match and make it a triple threat match or whatever the case may be, because you need somebody to save it. As it stands right now, they can keep that. Actually, they can have that match at Evolution. Don't put it on SummerSlam. But anyways, Jade Cargill comes out on top in this match, defeating Asuka. She couldn't even do the pin. She couldn't even pin her right. I was like, wait, what happened? Everybody in the crowd was dead. The ref didn't know what to do because she didn't even pin Asuka right for the one she fell off. How you fall off of somebody pinning them? I don't know. I'm sorry, man. Come on, Jade. You got to step it up, baby. Because right now this is embarrassing, man. It was embarrassing watching that match, and it was the shortest match of the night, thank God. But they could have cut that in half. I think this match went 8 minutes. 4 minutes would have been better, but whatever. Jade Cargill is your new queen of the ring. She will challenge Tiffany Stratton if she has the title at SummerSlam for the WWE Women's Championship. We shall see how this plays out going forward until we get to that big PLE. This brings us to the main event of the evening, the singles match for the Undisputed WWE Championship between John Cena and CM Punk, a rivalry that has spanned well over 20 years, finally getting this match again after what, 15 years? Since that epic, I think it was Night of Champions that they had that match, or was it Money in the Bank? One of the two, but it's around the same time that they had that epic match where CM Punk won the title and took it home when his contract expired at midnight. That was probably one of the top 10 or top 5 best feuds in WWE history. You know, you have Rock and Austin, you have Brett and Shawn Michaels, you have Undertaker and Kane, you have who else? Who else I'll put over that? That's probably it. That's probably it as it stands right now. Yeah, I mean Cena and Punk at that time, in WWE history, that was the feud that really drove the company because you had the poster child of John Cena and the rebel of CM Punk going at it, you know, for the championship and back and forth on the mic, in the ring. It was a great little feud back then. Now we've kind of rekindled it in 2025. Both men are clearly older, as all of us, but they don't move the way they used to move. You're not going to get an epic match like you got back in, what was it, 2005 or something like that. But this this was probably the most excited I was for a John Cena match since his heel turn at Elimination Chamber. Not because of who he was particularly going up against with CM Punk, but he actually felt like a heel in the build up to this match. You know, you got his reverse pipe bomb on Punk a couple of weeks ago, which was great. I loved it. Punk coming out last night in Thug Life, the Thug Life costume and stuff, trying to rap. Beautiful, man. I was thoroughly entertained by all of this leading up to this match. Wasn't expecting nothing out of this match because up to this point, if you're expecting a 5-star match out of John Cena, you really do need to talk to your therapist and get your head examined because you're not gonna get it. There's no way. John Cena is older now. His body has been wrecked. You got to understand, John Cena was the workhorse during his peak in WWE before he really took off in Hollywood. Raw and SmackDown and house shows and pay-per-views and PLEs and making a Wish appearances and all this other. He never stopped. His body is wrecked. Is understandable. I'm not mad at John Cena. He has done God's work in professional wrestling. So it is, the time is truly now. And so he needs to walk away. But I have been excited for this match for that reason. And I know if anybody can bring the best out of Cena, it will be Punk. And if anybody can bring the best out of Punk, it can be Cena. And so I was expecting a decent match, and that's what I got. Once again, the theme of the night, not a barn burner, but very decent match. What messed it up for me, normally I wouldn't be upset by this, but it upset me for this PLE, and in particular this match, was the overbooking at the end. Man, they overbooked I'm done. I'm tired of it. Ever since WrestleMania 40, it feels like you gotta have Avengers Assemble at every main event PLE. I'm tired. I'm done with that. Can we have a legit finish to a main event match? Please. I mean, why do we have to overbook the end? I can live with an interference. I can live with one person running in, interfering, and running back off. under the cloak of darkness. That's cool. But okay, the referee takes a bump. And then for 15 minutes, the referee, I don't know, falls into another dimension and can't find his way out because he is completely knocked out. He's in a coma because you have 5 other superstars making entrances. And I mean, you getting the full on entrance. You getting the Titantron graphics, the song, the slow walks. Penta came out. Penta was supposed Penta was supposed to be saving CM Punk, or wait, who he was supposed to be saving? No, he was going to be saving Cena, but it wasn't so much saving Cena. He was just after Braun Breaker and all that. But he had to do the Penta dance and do the stands at the top. Bruh, they are beating the man up. He's doing the Cierto Morto. And I'm like, my God, bro, will you go save this man from this butt kicking he's getting? It was so ridiculous. Then you had Sami Zayn come out. Of course, I failed to mention, yeah, Seth Rollins and his group had came in. And so you got all of them coming out. All right. Then Cena and Punk, they fight off everybody. This after Seth Rollins, because the whole tease, quote unquote, is Seth Rollins cashing in. Smart move, but just didn't. He picked the wrong time, or did he? I don't know, but they just executed it wrong. And little Nate came out to be the ref. Cena blocked him. Cena and Rollins got into it, and it was back and forth, back and forth. Punk ended up helping Cena, or Cena ended up helping Punk, or vice versa. They both helped each other, but it wasn't so much to help each other. It was more just to hurt those who came in to interfere with the match. And it was a tease that we were going to get a face turn from John Cena. I wasn't buying it, but whatever. And sure enough, it was all a trick. He tried to trick CM Punk. CM Punk, greatest in the world, or the best in the world, I should say. Too smart for that. About to put him out with the GTS. Rollins came, hit him with the briefcase, and stomped him, causing John Cena to cover him for the 1, 2, 3. He runs out the ring with the belt. It was too much, man. It was way too much going on at the end of this match. It was unnecessary. It was just a lot of unnecessariness. I don't know, man. Triple H, he is really starting to. He's weakening, man. The shields are weakening. You're starting to get some stuff through here. I'm gonna pose the question again. I posed them in the other matches. Where are we going with this? Where do we go from here? Well, we know that John Cena, like I said, when Cody Rhodes won earlier and became king of the ring, I knew John Cena was going to win. And so, okay, you got that rematch coming at SummerSlam. So I'm only assuming now that CM Punk is mad that Seth Rollins has interfered with his match again. And so we're going to get that kicked back up again. And I'm like, we're going in circles, man. We're going in circles. We're not advancing anything forward here, and it is frustrating, man. It is so frustrating because these are some of the best performers in the world, and we're doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't know, bro. We got to step up our game. It's kind of lazy. It feels like lazy booking to me. Now, I might have to eat crow when we get to the end of the story, so to speak, and we get a different twist and turn here and there. But I think you're trying too hard with the twist and turning. Let's just tell a cohesive story and move on. Move on. I don't know, but John Cena retains the undisputed WWE Championship. He will face Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Overall, this was a all right PLE. Like I said, there's only one match that was just downright bad. That was the Queen of the Ring finalist. But other than that, everything else was fine. To rank them all, the King of the Ring tournament final between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, where Cody Rhodes became the King of the Ring, I give that a C plus. It was a decent match. The street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, I give that a C plus. It was decent as well. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, I gave a C minus. It was just there. Solo Sikoa defeating Jacob Fatu for the WWE United States Championship, I give that a C. It was it was fine, right in the middle. Jade Cargill defeating Asuka for the Queen of the Ring tournament, I give that a D, D plus. Yeah, it was bad. That was a bad match. And the main event for the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena defeating CM Punk with 50 other people coming at the end, I give that a C plus. Yeah, overall average, this was a C plus, just slightly above average. Like I said, this was like a Raw. This was a Monday Night Raw. That's what it felt like without the promos and the commercials. That's the only thing that was missing from this PLE. But that is my opinion. Like I said, that could change tomorrow if I let it sit, sleep on it. I may feel differently tomorrow, but as it stands right now, that's my feelings on Night of Champions Riyadh for 2025. I would like to know, what were your thoughts of the premium live event? Did you enjoy it? Do you think it was better than what I'm saying? Which is fine. You know, everybody has their opinion. You know, I'm not right all the time. Or do you think I didn't give it enough? Or not, or did I give it too much? I should say credit for being good. You know, no, man, no, Kevin, that show sucked. Okay, I can see that too. I'm not gonna argue with that. But I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction to WWE's Night of Champions. I think the next PLE is Evolution, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's in July. It may be another one in there, but I do know Evolution is coming up. I know Saturday Night Main Event is too, but I'm not gonna review that one. Even though Goldberg, that's his final match, I don't care about it. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait to talk about it. It's Goldberg. Did you see him come out on Raw a couple of weeks ago? He could barely move. I'm supposed to be excited about that match. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. But anywho's, whenever the next PLE pops up, you can best believe that I will be back here to recap and react to it. Until then, y'all be good. I'll speak to you on the next go around. Peace out.